Do you feel stuck in your career? Do you feel like it's a drag to get up out of bed every morning to get to work? Well, if so, you've come to the right place. What's up everyone, welcome back to Free to Be, David here, and in today's video, I want to share with you guys some tips that'll help you get your career back on track. But before I get started, as always, if you're new to my channel, I cover financial literacy here in an effort to track my progress to financial independence, and hopefully by doing that, I'm creating valuable content that others can use in their pursuit as well. So if you haven't done so already, please take a moment and just click the subscribe button down below. I really do appreciate the support. And if you have subscribed and are returning to the channel, thanks for coming back. Alright, so in today's day and age, it's not uncommon to become frustrated with the position you're in your career. You might be seeing a lot of your friends moving and transitioning from one role to another, quickly moving up the ladder, where you might be stuck in one position with no end in sight, with no promotion or, growth opportunity available to you. Because honestly, it's not a good feeling to feel trapped. It can actually add stress to your life that just is not needed at all. Well, you're going to want to do a few things. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to evaluate the company you're working for. Is this company a company that is profitable? Is this a company that is growing, has shown some growth over the past few years and continues to show growth? Because with growth comes hiring opportunities, comes new positions, advancement opportunities, and an overall potential to grow. And if your company is not one that's been doing that, if it's actually been reducing in size, if they've been laying people off, or there's been hiring freezes, that might indicate that there won't really be an opportunity for you to continue growing and developing your career there, so it might be time to look elsewhere. Now, with that goes a second component where you're actually going to want to evaluate your own skills. Do you have the skill sets really needed to do the job you're doing right now, and that can actually translate to the next job that you want, to the job that you want to aspire to? For example, if you're trying to progress and grow your career in, the IT world, and you know a little bit of coding, and the next jump you want to make is into like a manager, like an IT or a technical manager role. If you don't have that skill set, that might be something you want to look into, whether it means going and getting a certificate, taking some online courses, whatever needs to be done to get you comfortable and get you those skills needed to be successful in that next role. Now, after you've done the initial evaluations, you've evaluated your company and you've evaluated your personal skills, it's now time to have a talk with your boss. You're going to want to have an open and honest discussion with your boss because they can actually help you get to where you want to go, whether it be in your company or other opportunities they may be aware of. And it's not like you have to go in their office and say, hey, give me a promotion or I'm quitting, or any kind of hostile conversation at all. And it could just be an open, honest conversation where you kind of outline your career path and the development that you see for yourself to your boss. Let them know that you would like to grow with the current company, but you want to kind of get a better idea of what it takes to do that and have an outline of exactly what the steps would be to take the next step. Because without that roadmap, then you're kind of just spinning your wheels. You don't have any kind of real target in place for you to try to achieve and strive to. So you're just going to be really frustrated trying to get to some place that you can't even see. The water's going to be super murky. At least when you have a conversation with your boss, you can kind of clear that up a little bit. It kind of puts them on notice too that you really do aspire to be more than what you are in your current position. So that way, they're aware of it. It's a really professional way to kind of put them on notice. So that way, if the day comes that you do leave, they're not caught off guard, they're not blindsided. You can be like, look, I just wanted to continue growing and, unfortunately it couldn't happen here, so I'm going to move on to the next opportunity. That way you don't burn any bridges, because that's also very key to professional growth, is not burning any of the bridges, any of the relationships that you made, because sometime in the future you might actually interact with this person professionally again. Maybe it's another role beyond this role. Maybe once you leave, your boss also leaves and goes to another organization, and then maybe 5-6 years from now, you guys end up working together again. So you don't want to burn any bridges, you don't want to destroy or damage any relationships. So I think talking to your boss is just a really good way to be professional about the whole thing. So the next thing you want to do is kind of network within your own company. If you work at a marketing firm and you're right now sitting in a department that's not growing as much as maybe the sales group, maybe you want to start talking to those folks, to the people in that department, to see if there's any opportunity to maybe transition into a role there. There's no problems or issues with shifting your career if you don't feel as satisfied as you thought you would in a specific department, doing a specific job. And by networking, you're also increasing your exposure to the company so people get to know you a little bit more. You know, somebody, again, you never know, somebody might leave and go somewhere else for another opportunity, and then when they have a chance to pull somebody in, maybe they'll think of you that way because now you've increased your exposure with a larger group of your colleagues, and ultimately that's just a good thing. Now, once you've exhausted all of the resources that you kind of have at your current position in your current company, then you can start looking at some other companies, some companies that may be similar to yours or in the same industry, and you can start targeting those and looking at those job boards for job postings that might fit your needs and criteria. Now, it could be simply just identifying 5 or 6 companies and applying to positions as they become available, but don't limit yourself that way either. Also sign up for job boards, you know, your Indeeds, make sure you're looking on LinkedIn, because there's going to be opportunities there that might not necessarily populate on those websites that might feed directly to these job boards. So you don't want to limit yourself in any way when you're really looking for the next opportunity in growing your career. And with this comes reaching out to a network that you've established. So as you're applying for new jobs, as you're looking and investigating new companies that might be interesting to you, new roles that might catch your eye, look for any people in your network that are connected to these companies in any way. Maybe your best friend's wife works at one of the companies that you're targeting. Maybe a former colleague is working there now. Don't be shy or timid about reaching out to these folks and learning more about the opportunities. See if you can get a reference. That's usually the best way to get into a new role at a new company, is through a reference from a current employee there. So reach out to as many people as you can within your network and let them know that you're interested in certain roles. Now, obviously, don't hound people and don't harass them. It's all about maintaining professional relationships and keeping that professional balance. That's what's really going to help you down the line. And again, some of those platforms like LinkedIn, for example, will even tell you when people in your network work at that company. Maybe they'll tell you that people from your current employer are now working at that company. So it's as easy as just shooting them an email and letting them know that you're interested. And finally, the last kind of tip here to get your career jump started again is to keep tweaking and updating your resume on a regular basis. Keep customizing it to specific roles, highlighting the skills that would really shine in the role that you're most interested in when you apply to it. Having a general resume doesn't really help anymore. I don't think that's ever really been a good approach. You definitely want to tailor your resume and keep tweaking it to specific roles every single time you apply. And if you're keeping your resume on a job board, let's say for example, Indeed, you have a resume there on that platform, you're going to want to keep tweaking it on a weekly basis too, because I believe they actually notify recruiters how often those files have been updated and they're time-stamped. So by keeping it up to date, by keeping it, fresh on a weekly basis, it kind of lets the recruiters out there know that this person's serious, this person's looking, and they're really engaged with the job search. And just remember, a resume that was like the perfect resume in 2010 might not hold the same value now in 2020. The job landscape has changed completely. There are new technologies involved. There's new skills that people are looking for, and that's why it's important to keep that resume up to date as much as possible. All right, guys, well, that's all I had for this video. If you've been struggling with the job search or just getting your career started and moving in the right direction again, let me know some of the obstacles that you've overcome or some of the challenges you faced in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel and haven't done so already, please take a moment and just click the subscribe button for me. It really does help support the channel, and I really do appreciate any support I can get, and I'll see you next time.